What's going on? It's D-Man. I want to bring you all a little NBA 2K14 wish list, or what I want to see different in NBA 2K14. I really wasn't going to make this video because most of the ideas I had, I just handed them over to Shake and he just sent them to the devs himself. But I figured if some of you are curious, here's what I want to see fits. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into this. First off, let's start with MyPlayer mode because MyPlayer mode is what I play the most. First off, NBA 2K13 MyPlayer mode, it was pretty good, but it's just a few things that's missing to make it feel authentic. One of the main things people are talking about right now is switching jerseys. In NBA 2K14, you have to be able to wear different jerseys on our mod players. If we can't manually change them, at least make it automatic. Like during the winter time, you get the winter sports collection, maybe Latin nights, St. Patrick's Day. You know, we have all these jerseys, but we never see them. And I thought this was going to be fixed in NBA 2K11. And then I said, oh, for sure in 2K12 we're going to be able to change jerseys. And at the end of 2K12, I was like, for sure in 2K13 we're going to be able to change jerseys. And now here we are. So hopefully in 2K14 we can change jerseys. Another thing I want to talk about is just injuries. Just injuries in general, because in NBA 2K13 we don't see that many injuries as much in between games. And I think that in MyPlayer mode it would be authentic, or more authentic, if we can get injured in the middle of a game. Just how dope would this be? You get injured in the middle of a game and they actually show you walking back to the locker room, which is something that we need because we never see the players in the locker room. But we see them before the game, but after that we don't see them in the locker room or walking through the tunnel to the locker room or to the court. We need that camera angle. But anyways, let's say for instance you injure your ankle, you walk back to the locker room and now you see someone taping your ankle, or you see somebody talking to you and they give you a decision, you know, whether to play or sit out. Now if you play, of course your stats are going to go down, but if you sit out, maybe your ankle will be healed quicker. So doing this not only gives us a view off of the court, you know, in the locker room, but also it gives us choices. Another choice we can make is on 2K13, they give you the option to take your teammates out to dinner to raise your chemistry. But I think it would be cool that if you go out to dinner, maybe one day you get sick and you give the option, you know, play with your sickness or just sit the game out. And this would be dope because, you know, nobody's ever healthy all the time. You know, Jordan had the flu game. Kobe played with flu-like symptoms earlier this season. And doing that in MyPlayer, I think it would just be crazy, especially if you can get the commentators to touch on it. If you can make the commentators acknowledge the fact that we're playing injured or playing sick, it just makes it feel more realistic. Another thing I want to talk about is the post-game interviews, because I'm tired of seeing like the press conference type deal after every game. You know, I'm pretty sure every game has a press conference. They interview somebody, but most players get interviewed on court. And I might actually make kind of 2 points with this. One, we need probably a post-game interview on court. Kind of like, I want to say in NFL 2K5 they did that. So we didn't really have an option to say what we want to say, but you did see them get an interview on the field. So bringing that to 2K would be great. And another thing I want to touch up on is bringing the commentators to life. Let's give the commentators a face, because we always see, or we always hear them. We only hear them. We don't really see them. We always see the picture of Doris Burke. No, we can get her animated, right? And we also never see the commentators before, during, or after the game, which is weird. Usually we see them at least before the game or after the game. You know, just, we need to bring them to life. Let's give them a face. Let's get them animated. You know, you don't have to do like a crazy cutscene, but just like maybe every once in a while in the bottom right corner of the screen, we see them talking about the game. I just think that would be dope. Not only do I play MyPlayer a lot, but I just want 2K to look as real as possible, which is doing a great job. I mean, you can't deny that, but it's just little things that make it feel more realistic. So post-game interviews on court would be crazy, and also bringing in the commentators to life, because we need to do that. Now my next note, I didn't really want to bring this up because I know everybody's talking about it, but I think everybody goes overboard with this, and that's what you should be able to do outside of an NBA game. I know most people are like, oh, you should be able to drive around and stuff like that. Like, this is NBA 2K, not The Sims. But I do think that you should have your crib, just like NFL 2K5. I know I'm using that as an example a lot. But NFL 2K5, you just see your house, see your couch, see your TV, upstairs, downstairs, trophy room, You can update the tile, walls, stuff like that. Now that would probably be nice for 2K14, but as for just driving around, doing whatever, that's not 2K in my opinion. I just don't think that has a place in the game. That's just my opinion, of course. Not ripping anybody that says that or thinks that needs to be in the game, but I think that at least a crib or at least a house that you can see and interact with would be nice. Even on one of the Maddens, when their Superstar mode was first introduced, they only showed the background. You know, first when you first start off in the NFL, your background would be kind of like a ran down apartment. Then next thing you know, you ended up in a loft or a penthouse. So even something like that would be pretty dope. Now this is the last thing I want to look at or talk about. I could harp about tattoos and hairstyles, but to me that's not really as important as the crossovers. Now you're looking at NBA 2K10 here, you're looking at Retro D-Man right here, and you see you have all these packages: crossover, double cross, behind back spin, half spin, step back, hesitation in and out, and step out. And now in 2K13, most of these are kind of packaged together, and I've been talking about this for a while, that we need to take it back to the way it was on 2K10, especially with the dribble stick. Now having each one separate is crucial. You know, each MyPlayer would be different. When you get on blacktop, you see most of the MyPlayers kind of have the same moves. They're kind of redundant, but if you separate it like this, each person can have their own moves, and it'll just, the control stick would be put to better use in my opinion. So that's all I really want to talk about MyPlayer mode for 2K14. I'm pretty sure I'll make another one of these videos later on. I can tell you that my next 2K14 wishlist will be on gameplay issues that bother me. Not necessarily all of them, just the ones that bother me and the ones that really need to be fixed. Anyways, I'll holler at you all later. Peace.